Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms. These are Charter Moms Chats, and it is enrollment season. And there are so many schools that are going to start open enrollment tomorrow, November 1st. Wait, I should explain. It is Halloween, and that's why we have our costumes on, right? So I am Queen Inga today. Let me introduce our guests, and they can show off their Halloween costumes too. So Dr. Erlinda Valderas is the principal at Jubilee Westwood. So what are you for Halloween?
I am actually Grover.
Oh,
So, yeah. We all dressed up as Sesame Street characters. I'm missing the cape for Super Grover, so I'm just Grover, but that's okay.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so when she's not being Grover,
Yes.
Dr. Valderas is the principal at Jubilee Westwood. And then also with us is Grace Muniz, and she is associate superintendent at Jubilee Academies. But today she is.
I am the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. So yeah, I was on time today.
That's right. That's right. No, you were not late. You were on time. So yes, we started right at 4:00. So I'm proud of us. Okay. Well, great. Okay. Well, so we're just gonna, it's Halloween, and I hope everyone has a lot of fun tonight, trick or treating and all. But we're gonna, for the next half hour or so, we're gonna learn about Jubilee Academies, and open enrollment starts tomorrow, November 1st. But this will stay up, through February 10th when open enrollment ends and beyond. So, but I want, in case folks maybe are not familiar yet with Jubilee Academies, Grace, can you talk about like the mission and vision of Jubilee Academies?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for having us here. We're so excited to be able to share our story. So we actually are about the whole child. Our vision is to provide the premier choice in education. And what does that mean, right? To provide a nurturing community focused on leadership and educational excellence. So we do have a lot of foundation on character. And so we have our values that we work with the kids. It's called Determined Destiny Values and Culture. So we definitely are big on molding the child, right? To be able to, just adapt to anything that life throws at them, right? Because we all have to be adaptable. And it's all about leadership as well. So we do have many um, uh, just show them different ways and techniques to handle different circumstances change, how to be understanding, having integrity. And along with that, of course, we have to focus on the academics, right? We wouldn't even be here if we didn't have the academics. So our vision really is to ensure we're very data driven, look at the child and see what they need, provide the interventions that they need to get them and provide them a good, solid education.
Thank you, Grace. So I want to ask, and you mentioned about the importance of strong academics, and so I was wondering. So I know that Jubilee has campuses that go from like young kids all the way up to 12th grade. But can you all start by commenting about the elements of the early childhood and the elementary programs at Jubilee? Dr. Valderas, you want to take that one?
Yes, absolutely. So here at Jubilee, not just here at Jubilee Westwood, but across Jubilee Academies, we do believe in building a strong foundation for our early childhood students. And that includes anything from social emotional learning to literacy skills. So all of our teachers are being trained in reading academies. So they are getting that foundational knowledge to be able to teach reading from a very foundational and research perspective. So our instruction is very research driven, and it's backed by, again, reading academies where all of our teachers are being trained. In addition to those literacy skills, just those basic foundational skills, we also focus on the social emotional learning of the child, which Ms. Muniz briefly touched on, which is the determined destiny value and determined destiny culture. All of these things help us to look at not just the academic component of the child, but also the social emotional development. And then working with our parents, we have that partnership to be able to come together and make sure that our students grow into strong, independent, productive, responsible, social, emotional, rounded students and children.
Thank you. And actually, we have a question from a viewer. She's asking about the literacy curriculum that you use in the early grades. Is it consistent across the Jubilee campuses?
Yes, it is. We actually use CLI for our little ones. It's a circle curriculum, and so that is for pre-K. Now, kinder and up, we do use Amplify for literacy, which is our reading component. Amplify encompasses both reading and writing, but it's through more of an integrated approach, not so much where skills are taught independently of literature, but more so in conjunction with literature. So any of the literacy skills that are taught through authentic literature and not so much separate from the literature itself.
And just to add, one of the biggest things I think right now that we need to think about is that we're moving into being more focused on text complexity. So before we used to have the whole approach, then we had balanced literacy. Now we have text and complexity, which is, and that's why we chose Amplify to be our curriculum. We are also part of CRIMSI. So basically, it's a grant that was awarded to the district to be able to provide us with instructional materials in both reading and in math, all the way to 8th grade. And we also got part of this. We were part of this other grant called the RBIS, which is Research-Based Instructional Strategies, and so they really help us create a plan of action to incorporate this new curriculum, because this is our second year. So, whenever you start a new curriculum, there is always that change that's going to come. And so, we have to manage that change and teach our teachers the new curriculum, the new strategies, why we're moving in this direction. So we definitely have a heavy emphasis on literacy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's really helpful. Actually, and our viewer Hillary has a follow-up question. She's wondering, she's asking about dual language, but I'm wondering maybe you could comment even more broadly about like emergent bilingual students.
So we do have a dual language program actually in one of our campuses is Jubilee Highland Hills. We just started it last year actually. So we have pre-K and K. We do have a teacher at every single grade level all the way to 5th grade with the dual program, but we really are focusing on pre-K and K for right now so we can slowly build it. We definitely, in our other campuses, we do offer the ESL program, and we do have pull-up programs. So we have interventionists at every single campus that supports our emergent bilinguals. So we definitely, and actually they're the ones that have shown the most growth in our results. So we're definitely very proud of that.
Dr. Valderas, did you want to comment on the dual language or ESL classes also?
Yeah, I think that, just from a research perspective, dual language, of course, is the most effective program when you're looking at building biliteracy and biculturalism. We are fortunate enough to have a varied population. So we do have Spanish, but I know here at Jubilee Westwood, we do have languages other than Spanish and English. So that's where our ESL comes in, right? So not only do we have those dual language programs where we're developing both languages together, and at the same time, we also have transitional programs, which of course are our exit bilingual programs, and of course our ESL program. Any of those programs is great, just kind of depending on what the end goal is, right? So what are you hoping to get out of that program? But either one of them is a great program, and they're all set up very well. So we can support all three of them actually.
Okay, that's great. Oh, and Hillary says thank you. I know she's a great researcher. I learn a lot from her because my kids are big now, so she's researching young kids and how schools, right? And as Grace mentioned about understanding the complexity of the text, right? And new approaches to literacy that are scientifically proven and really help kids progress. So are there any other comments about the early childhood or elementary education that you guys want to share? Because I also want to get to the CTE programs. I know it's a real strength at Jubilee, but I don't want to rush past because it just, when I've been on campus, it just seems like so much joy for the young kids.
Yeah, I mean, I think, our reading program is a great one. I think that the curriculum is set up to be engaging for our students. It's very true to life and collects with real life experiences. I think the other thing that we do that helps us with not only our early literacy, but just literacy in general, is it not only in addition to our standard benchmarks that we have to meet, we also have progress monitoring in between. So that is designed and set up in a way so that if there are any deficiencies or issues that are coming up with literacy acquisition, we can stop those in the moment and address them immediately to keep those, for lack of a better word, holes in learning from getting any bigger, right? So we're able to go back, look at our data, look at our student, and try to understand where those gaps are, that we can fill them up so that we don't make that gap any larger as a student progresses through the grade levels.
I do want to add a little bit about our culture, because I think also, as we mentioned, we're heavy on academics, right? But at the same time, we want to make sure we always tackle the whole child. So we do have what we call jubilation. And it is done from pre-K through fifth grade. Basically, every morning the students get together along with their principal, and they have chants, they sing songs, they have contests, they sing happy birthday to whoever's birthday it is. They do announcements, they remind them of some of our values, and you should see like the faces when they come. And we just started it this year, so I really love it. It does bring a lot of joy to start the day that way. And it does change things. So just hearing them going down the halls and going back to their rooms. Of course, we're trying to work on that instructional time because we don't want to cut that. So we did actually start it since 7:50, and it actually has improved our tardies. Because people want to go. So I think that has been very, very helpful this year. We also have empowerment shakes. So when the students walk into the room, we ask them how they want to be greeted. And we're real heavy on showing that, because, you never know how a child is feeling that day, or where they came, or what happened at home. So it's super important that we always assess the child as they're walking into our rooms, to know how we can better service them, right? So we have that, and we have also what's called Joy Squared. As soon as they walk into the room, we talk to them about what are some joys in their life, and we get to talk a little bit about that. And it's all about that it's an inward feeling. So we're really trying to teach them that it's something that comes from within. It doesn't necessarily have to come from out, an external, because we want them to bring their own joys to their life.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That helps give a sense of school culture for the young kids. So so I want to be sure we talk a lot about the especially for high school kids, but like middle school and high school, and the CTE, or I'm sorry, buzzwords, career technical education, which is known as CTE, and how that creates opportunities for the big kids to kind of practice like what they might want to do in their career when they grow up.
So we do start in middle school. We have a bridge. So we have Dr. Valderas campus, for example. If you want to talk a little bit about what you have currently, so, and how we bridge it to Lakeview, and then I'll talk about Lakeview, which is sister campus, and we have a similar setup with Jubilee Highland Hills and JSA. Which is Jubilee San Antonio. So I have Dr. Valderas explain a little bit about her program, and then the bridge we have.
Absolutely. So our CTE program here at Jubilee Westwood encompasses culinary arts, hospitality, and tourism. Students engage not only in the background learning about each of those arenas, but they also engage in like pre-labs where they get to experience what it would be like in this type of position in the workforce. And so they go on field trips, they are able to earn certificates, they're able to disaggregate information, look at trends, develop plans. Our CTE teacher is amazing. And so what's really unique about our program is that, just like Ms. Muniz mentioned, our program is set up as a pathway to the high school. So when our students leave here, they're able to pick up on the high school side at Jubilee Lakeview, where they can then develop that distinction that moves them into graduation. So Ms. Muniz?
So at Jubilee Lakeview, we do offer the culinary arts, law enforcement, and graphic design. And they actually have a kitchen that we just remodeled for them. And it was great to see. They actually build these menus for teachers to give them a luncheon. So it's just great things that they're doing there, and we're really growing the program. And it just started, so we are still green, but we're getting there. And so we intentionally made sure that there was a connection between our middle schools and high school. And for Jubilee Highland Hills, we have STEM and we have graphic design. And which leads us to they're like about maybe 10 minutes away from Jubilee San Antonio, which is our high school, that also provides graphic design. It also provides teaching and learning, and STEM. So again, another way to bridge them to in case they, after, and Jubilee Hidden Hills is only up to 8th grade, so Jubilee San Antonio's all the way to 12th grade.
Yeah, well, I like how you described that about right. There's campuses that go up to 8th grade, and then there's campuses that go up to 12th grade, and then that way the students can if they're already experiencing those those pathways in middle school, then they have that continuity when they're in high school. And I think that's people who listen to this channel know I'm always talking about how important it is for kids to have experiences, even as young as middle school, high school, so that they're already seeing themselves. What they want to do when they grow up, and find their purpose, find where they feel like they belong, and whether that shapes what college program they pick, or if it means like they work a meaningful job like while they're in college, or if they just get a certification and want to go straight to work, then they just have so much more opportunities ahead of them than if they're just like, okay, I just need to get these credits, I need this piece of paper.
And we do have Project Lead the Way. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that in the audience, but it's really fun because I went through the whole training myself a couple of years ago. It's a lot of projects and hands-on. So we do use that in some of our middle school CTE courses to help with the curriculum. But we definitely agree that we need to give those experiences to the students. Some of our students, if you look at our demographics, have not experienced many of these different careers. So just exposing them to it actually will get them to be like, maybe I want to go this route, and it's a lot of exploration and opportunity that we can give them. We also are part of Gear Up. I don't know if you ever heard of this program, Gear Up, but basically they take them to tours to university, colleges. They have career expos. They bring speakers, like they just do a numerous of activities to get the students to get them going to a university or college. They help them with their FAFSA, and right now they're following a certain group of students. We were actually one of the only districts that got awarded to start in elementary, so because we had never done that before, so we were very excited about that. We also provide dual credit. We have on-ramps, and we actually do have students that actually go to Palo Alto and Texas A&M. This year's the first year we have freshmen going to Texas A&M, which I'm very proud of, but very, it's new. So, we're really, making sure that's going well and checking on the students. We're constantly having to have meetings to see how the students are progressing. Are they doing well? Because at the same time, we don't want to start them too early where might not be ready. So it's very important that if we start them in 9th grade, that we're constantly being very vigilant that they're doing okay. You're muted.
Dual credit is amazing because then the kids, like, they're earning their high school credit, but they're also for free earning college credit. And then they can apply that, like, towards their 4-year degree, already, getting a head start on that. But yeah, like, it does take more responsibility for the student to function like at that college level. So it takes like extra supervision and mentorship. But that's why, it's important to have, a strong partnership between a school like Jubilee or schools, and then, Palo Alto or Texas A&M San Antonio, to make sure that the students can get the benefits of both. Okay, see, we're gonna have a few more comments coming up. Let's see. Oh, Deshaun is asking, this is referring back to the determined destiny values, and then how the values tie into the school day. So could one of y'all take Deshaun's question?
Yeah, I mean,
so I'll do one, and then Dr. Valderas. There you go, Dr. Valderas.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Valderas. She can go, and I'll go.
So they tie in every day. I mean, we have just through our determined destiny values, we help to establish that determined destiny culture. We have things such as balance checks. So if there's something in the room, in the classroom, or even in the campus that we feel like we need to stop and think for a minute, reframe, or whatever it is that we need to do to just kind of reset our mind and reset our thinking, we do those balance checks, right? And that is something that our students are taught that they engage in. That's something that our staff engages in. Our secondary students also engage in community circles and relationship circles where they bring certain topics to the table. Something as simple as, I have a great day when, and so we unpack that, we talk about it. And so all those things help to make sure that our students understand that we're trying to develop a certain type of culture, a certain type of student, and a certain type of expectation. And so all that leads to developing the whole child. I think coming to Jubilee, that's something that I found very unique about it, in the sense that I came from ISDs. So having worked for one of the largest districts in the state, I can tell you that something like this was not in place, right? But coming here, yes, we're a little bit smaller, but we do have some great things going on, such as making sure that our culture and our values are developed every day. That's not something that you always find in an ISD. So that's something that I really liked about Jubilee, because, you know, we tend to get stuck in the muddle of curriculum and assessment and learning, but we forget that there's a child that comes along with that. And so we need to be able to develop that child, and that's just a great way to do it.
Grace, do you want to comment about bringing the values to life on campus as well?
So one of the other things that we do are called integrity huddles. And basically, whenever something happens that maybe we could have done a little better, we bring it to the table and we use our value cards to explain to the students some of the actions we should have taken instead, right? So like if there was a assignment that was given to the students and really only one of them did their part and the other four did not, then you take out one of those pillar cards and you start talking to them about integrity. You know, we have to trust each other. Everybody needs to do their part. We got to be honest when we did not come through with what we said we were going to do. So we take them through those conversations. So I think it's a lot of using the same language that helps, because then it's going to be engraved in them to when they get older. You know how like your parents always told you things, but you really don't remember them until you're 30 years old. So I think that's kind of the way it works, right? So I think the more we tell them about our values, the more we tell them about what makes just a good person, right? I think that will develop them. So we also have a parent component that goes along with that. So we have parent meetings where they have different little activities that they do with their own students to get them like through the right questioning, because even as parents, sometimes we don't know what to ask or what to say. We usually, especially if you have a teenager, usually, how's school? Fine. What did you do? Nothing. Right? So how do you get those rich conversations out of them when that is the only thing that they tell you? So I did try it as a parent myself, because both of my children actually came to Jubilee. One of them already graduated and is an A&M, and the other one is a junior. So, you know, I took her through the activity because I myself, we just developed it. So it's not, it's through a lot of research and things like that. But there was a couple of us that came together. Of course, the mastermind is our CEO, Thomas Koger. But you know, we were looking at the activities, and one of the activities was I am in control of my time, right? And it was going through the steps on how to create a goal. What is your barriers? And when I did that with my child, you know, I thought she was going to tell me something related to academics, right? I thought she was going to tell me, you know, because she wants to be a therapist. And I thought that's what she was going to tell me, and how she's dyslexic and that maybe it's a little bit more difficult for her than others. Okay, totally did not go that route. So when I asked her what was her goal, she said to have a better relationship with her dad. And I'm divorced, right? So I was just like, wow, like I did not think we were going to go there. So, and so it brings you these conversations that you didn't think you were going to have, but you needed to have. And I said, well, what's your barriers? And she said, well, I'm afraid that he's not proud of me, or I'm afraid what he's going to say. And so we went through the list. I actually went through the questions to guide me, because I was getting emotional, and it was real hard for me to go through that. But once I went through it, oh my gosh, it was like a breakthrough. So it works, right? Talking to your kids, knowing what questions to ask, having those conversations with them, I think is very, very helpful. So I really, really do love our determined destiny culture.
Yeah. Wow. That's thank you for being so vulnerable with us. I mean, that's really deep. Yeah, I have teenagers, and it's something I struggle with every day. Like, how do I be present and open and listening to them, and help them feel safe to say like what's on their mind? And any tool that helps with that, I think, is really valuable. So Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess, yeah. So one of the other questions I wanted to ask about Jubilee culture, and I think this kind of relates back, is I know that like sports and extracurriculars are really important, and I think it's another way that where students can practice those values, right? Is through good sportsmanship and stuff. So, but I know for families who are like, I think there's kind of this myth that at charter schools it's only academics, and that's really not true. And I think Jubilee is a real example of like really, because there's great facilities for sports as well on the campuses. So can you all comment more about the opportunities for students to like, practice their values, but through competition?
Yep. So, excuse me, here at this per se at Jubilee Westwood, we do have flag football 4th through 8th. We also offer basketball, soccer, track, volleyball. We do have cross country that just finished up. Along the lines of electives and support in that nature, we have a technology applications. We're looking to open up cheer. We have a yearbook club that our CTE is actually in charge of. And again, that's more for secondary. And then we also recently received a designation of Middle School of Arts and Innovation we are a pre-K through 8 campus. So our 6 through 8 kind of hones in that area. And so with that, we do offer band. So we're starting up our band. This is our 2nd year. We're very proud and very excited, small but mighty. We also have theater arts. So we're really excited about that. Our students are really engaged in it. They're loving the performances. And then we also offer art, just, run-of-the-mill art class. But our kids are creating some great artifacts. And I believe some of them are going to be posted at our central office location. So we're very excited about that as well. And those are some of the things that we're offering. I know our little ones are really excited about cheer right now. So we're really looking forward to kicking that one off.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Hey, we got another question from Deshaun, and he's asking about leadership opportunities. So, like you talked about sports, but are there clubs that like let students do service activities, things like that?
Yep. So at Jubilee, just across Jubilee, we have Jubilee leaders. And so we have our regular like student council, things like that. But Jubilee leaders are also a way for our students to develop those leadership opportunities. So, for example, we just had our Silver Wolf Awards, which were our 9 weeks awards for our kids. Those were completely student led. So they came up with how it was going to run, with the time. They read out the names. They congratulated the kids. So just little things like that. Anytime we have any events on campus, we recently had our trunk or treat. It was a really large event. We had a great turnout. They ran that also. So, they were at the check-in table, making sure parents were being greeted, families were being welcomed, everyone was happy and where they were supposed to go and what they were supposed to be doing. So lots of opportunities for leadership, not just here at Jubilee Westwood, but just across Jubilee in general.
Yeah. Grace, do you want to share comments on that as well?
So definitely the Jubilee leaders are a big deal. Actually, our CEO has been one of the founders, and he actually started it in one of our campuses, and then it grew from there. So they definitely do help with a lot of the events that we currently have. I know, like for Thanksgiving, they're thinking of doing a barbecue for the parents and doing that like that first day on our vacation days. But just to get everybody together, so definitely we give them those opportunities for them to how does a child talk to an adult? How do we greet each other? How do we organize an event? So things like that I think really does expose them to leadership. And of course, we always talk about our values whenever we have those conversations.
It's great to be conscious about the values, and things like. But I think like it's hard for kids to get those the freedom to like have to plan things, introduce themselves, like practice those social skills. And like I feel like the pandemic kind of put a freeze on all that for a couple of years, and now we have to like reintroduce our kids to these skills and make up for like if they were middle schoolers or high schoolers during that critical time. It's like how do we catch them up and show that we trust them, that we believe in them, that they can do amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to give both of you a chance to share. You've shared some amazing stories already, but can you think of more stories that demonstrate like what the culture is like at Jubilee? Because we've covered a lot of stuff, like all the career pathways, like early college, all that kind of stuff. But what are some more like stories or examples?
You want to
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and comment.
Okay.
So I've been with Jubilee since 2011, right? So I actually was a founding principal for 3 of our Jubilees in Bronzeville. So during that time, I did get to see. Oh, there, see, I told you. I guess it didn't work. um, During that time, we were trying to put it in sleep mode, and it did not. So um, but basically, while I was a principal, I got to see a lot of extraordinary stories within Jubilee, right? So I remember I was a founder at one of the campuses that we started, and we started from scratch. Like, we didn't have any students there. I recruited my own students. I went door to door. I mean, so, yeah, totally recruited those students by myself. So it was 199 students that opened that first day. But what was exciting is years later, you get to see the fruits of your labor, right? So, like, I remember I had 2 students that they didn't know any English whatsoever when they started with us in that campus. And I got to see them graduate actually about 2 years ago. And one of them was the valedictorian, and I was just like, oh, and the other one was in the top 10. So, I mean, it's just like to see that growth, get to see the students grow, get them to see and then seeing them going up there to the podium and speak English, of course, right? But I'm just saying, like, it's just so nice to see that growth in the kids. So super excited that I was a part of that and seeing the students succeed. And they all went to universities. So definitely, I can see how Jubilee has changed some of our kids' lives, right? And just coming over. During that time when I was in the Bronzeville area, we had some severe politics issues happening in Mexico. So we did get a swarm of students that ended up coming to our campus. So we did have to work through that because a lot of them came with a lot of social emotional issues because just war. It wasn't even war, it was more of crimes happening during that time, shootings and things like that. And so we had to deal a lot with a lot of that. So it was really nice to see the students developed into what they became and seeing them graduate. And I happened to be a part of that. And I think also staff, right? I mean, it's also good to see people grow within the organization. And so I remember one of the people that I hired, she worked in the cafeteria, and she's now teacher of the year this year. So yeah, she ended up going from the cafeteria to being a paraprofessional to being a teacher. And then this past year, she was teacher of the year. So I was super excited about that. And so to see growth in everybody, I think is really my passion. So I just got to say that Jubilee definitely is the place for me because I've been able to see all of those things happen. And so right now we have a partnership with Grand Canyon where we are also getting our staff to try to recruit them to go back to school, right? I mean, to get their master's, some of them to get their bachelor's, just anything that's going to push them to the next level. So that's what I can say Jubilee has really given us an opportunity on.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Talking about being able to see people grow, and whether it's students, whether it's staff, like that's beautiful. That's a sign of a healthy culture. Dr. Valderas, do you want to share some stories about culture at Jubilee?
Yeah. So, I think just kind of piggybacking off what Ms. Muniz said, I am from the area of Jubilee Westwood, born and raised. So, very familiar with the community and our population. And so even on my end, that growth just means so much to be able to see that in someone. We do have some people who have already shown interest in Grand Canyon. So we're very excited about that and just developing from the inside and being able to support. As far as our daily culture, it's a good time here at Jubilee Westwood. I'm just letting you know. We did have a lot of fun today. We had our character parade. It was a little cold, but we had to bring it inside. Not a problem. We had plenty of parents show up, come and watch them inside the building. It was a great time. Our kids were excited. Our parents loved it. We later supported the staff with some snacks. We had a great nacho party this afternoon for our kids. So it's just a good time here. If you haven't come down, please come down. You would love it here. Our staff is great. Our students are amazing. And it's definitely a place to have a great time.
Yeah, I can just picture. I've been in the building, but it's been a while. But I know does have kind of a U-shaped, or well, it's sort of a ring-shaped hallway. So it's like
Yeah,
perfect
yep.
for a parade.
We're
Yeah,
just kind of a big square. Yep.
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, great. Well, I feel like y'all have shared so many great stories. I want to make sure that hopefully the people who are we answered some questions from viewers, that folks are getting excited about Jubilee and they want to learn more. So can y'all comment our advice for families? Like, so open enrollment starts tomorrow, and like, what should they do to learn more, and what should they do to apply?
So you can actually jump on our website, Jubilee Academies. You can go ahead and register there. We'll get everything going for you, get you processed. And if you want to know more about our school and come visit us, you're welcome to drop into our campus, come in for a tour. We'd be more than happy to show you around, not just here at Jubilee Westwood, but at any of our campuses. We welcome you. So come on down and we'd be happy to show you who we are and what we can offer.
That's great. Grace, do you want to add to that?
Yes, I was put in the comment section our website, and I'm actually gonna put in. Am I putting right, or should I put it under comments?
Oh, I can chat. The chat is good. I can see it. I can paste it in. Oh, it looks like Grace's screen might have frozen for just a minute. So while she's getting caught up, I'll go ahead and comment about the so the open enrollment period is November 1st to February 10th.
Yes.
Grace, you're back. It froze. Your screen froze for just a little bit.
Froze for a little bit, yeah.
Okay, can you all hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, there's a phone number in the chat. Okay, so what does this phone number? I'll put.
So this is my cell phone. If they want to contact and know more information, they could totally directly call me. This is the website that we can go to apply. I do make myself freely available to parents. We want to make sure we build a strong community. So any of those two, if you need help in how to navigate through our website to know how to enroll, then you can totally do that. But once you go to that website, it'll tell you apply today, and you can just click on that and it'll take you to the site to be able to register.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, well, and then I'm going to plug too that we have our School Discovery Days events, and Jubilee is participating in those. And the Jubilee team always brings a lot of spirit, ready to meet with parents and talk too. So our next School Discovery Day is November 11th, and we have more going up through March. So go to the website sachartermoms.com, and you can get all the details about School Discovery Days, and Jubilee will be there. But as Dr. Valderas said, going to a campus is great. I strongly agree with that, because I know just from like when I've been able to observe on campus, and like just how much joy the students have, and I can just imagine like what those morning events are and things like that. Like just how much fun the kids are having. Oh, and then okay, looks like y'all are sharing your email addresses too. Let me put these up on screen. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, so here is for Ms. Muniz. There's her email, and then let me get Dr. Valderas's. I'll get hers up next. And for anyone who's just listening to the podcast and can't see the screen, it's Grace, GRACE Lyman, LEIMANN @jubileeacademic.org. And then Dr. Valderas's email is Erlinda, ERLINDA Valderas, VALDERAS @jubileeacademic.org. So thank y'all so much for sharing and being accessible to our viewers. And this video is going to be embedded in the blog post. And also anybody who's just seeing the video and you want to learn more, you can click on the link in the description of the video. It'll take you to the enrollment guide blog post about Jubilee Academies that we just updated. So okay, well, this has been so much fun, and like what a great team to have on Halloween, because y'all are strong costume game here at Jubilee.
We are.
Right.
Thank you so much for having us. We truly appreciate the time, and I hope anybody that is listening to us, you reach out to us, please. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, we'd love to have you.
Well, Happy Halloween. Been a pleasure. Thanks so much. Happy Halloween.
Bye. Thank you.